Most importantly, here's the key decision factor, is what are the networks and the tools that your ideal target guests are already using? Hi there, Kelsey Toner here, the founder of Guest Focused Tour Business Coaching, where every day myself and our team of extraordinary tour and activity business coaches are helping you build a thriving, profitable tour business. Welcome back to our series all about multi-day travel marketing, where we're sharing proven best practices from some of the most successful multi-day operators on the planet. This entire series follows on our VIP marketing methodology, which is a simple framework for tour operators to attract, connect with, and convert your ideal target guests. How do we do it? Well, the VI and the P is an acronym where our marketing needs to be valuable, it needs to be intimate, and it needs to be pervasive. But if you haven't seen our entire series on the VIP marketing method, I highly recommend you get started there first. In this video, we're going to be talking about how to sell group travel with Facebook groups and WhatsApp groups. Let's dive in. Building online communities isn't just nice to have anymore. It's become essential for multi-day operators in 2025 and beyond. As we've discussed, multi-day tours are big decisions. We're talking thousands of dollars in precious vacation time. According to travel industry research, the average person consults over 38 sources before booking a multi-day trip. They want connection and guidance before they make that purchase. They need to feel confident about choosing you over competitors. Online communities solve this perfectly. They create ongoing touch points over time where you can be helpful, where you can demonstrate your authority. And this group will give you direct access to those warm leads. More importantly, in both of these instances, a best practice that we'll recommend is that you actually gate these, i.e. make them a private community where people have to share their email address and potentially contact information in order to be welcomed into the group, which means that you get to add to your email list as well as build these online communities. And you don't have to take my word for it. The numbers back this up. HubSpot reports that 90% of social media marketers say that building an active online community is crucial for success in 2025. Facebook groups see 10 times higher engagement than your business pages. And WhatsApp has a 98% open rate compared to email's 22%. Leveraging Facebook or WhatsApp groups connects perfectly into our VIP marketing method because you're going to be able to deliver valuable content regularly, more intimacy than simple broadcasts like email newsletters, social media posts, or paid ads. You'll be able to build genuine community and real relationships. And it's going to give you that pervasive presence where now we're not just hoping that they see your Instagram posts or that they happen to open your emails. We are going to be showing up across multiple platforms where they are spending their time. So the real benefits here are manyfold with building WhatsApp and Facebook communities. Lead collection, authority building, community building, and creating that warm audience for your offers. People make bookings with people they know, like, and trust, and these types of communities are a way to do that at scale. All right, let's dive into some of the logistics, some of the common mistakes, and best practices to do instead. Where most operators get it wrong when creating a Facebook or WhatsApp group is they create something like, well, John's Adventure Tours group, or one based on your tour company name or brand, and you wonder why so few people join. Ideally, you want to build a group or a community that focuses more on your ideal target guest situation, maybe challenges that they're facing, goals, a shared identity, or maybe some shared values, so that when someone sees that group name, they immediately think, oh, this is exactly for me. So instead of creating Patagonia Adventure Tours, you'd say Patagonia Trekking for non-athletes. This immediately speaks to people who might dream of Patagonia, but they're a little bit worried if they're not fit enough. If those are the people you're trying to reach, that's a much stronger group that will hold much more appeal. What about families homeschooling through travel, which could target a very specific lifestyle choice and challenge parents who want to combine education with travel experiences? Or empty nesters planning their first European river cruise? Women over 50 hiking solo addresses both the demographic and the specific concern, maybe about safety and confidence and how to plan accordingly. Or photographers chasing northern lights targets a passionate hobby combined with a specific destination challenge. Some groups work well around shared values like sustainable travel enthusiasts or so travel advocates, and other communities can be built around a shared objective or mission. I remember one particularly memorable strategy call with a multi-day tour business owner, and she was a Black African New Yorker woman who loved wine. So she had built this community of other Black New York women who just had a passion for drinking wine, and she had this idea, this mission, this bucket list trips to all of the major wine regions of the world, right? She wanted to go to Bordeaux, we wanted to have Burgundy, we wanted to go to Tuscany, we wanted to go to South Africa and Australia and taste the great wines of the world. And part of this community was rallying other people who had that same passion, obviously, for wine, but also for accomplishing and potentially joining her on these bucket list trips. What a beautiful community that allowed her to build that trust and rapport, and then, of course, build those offers around the community, not the other way around. So specifically with Facebook groups, as mentioned, we want to make it a private group, or at least gate it so that people have to share an email address in order to get access. And then ultimately you can approve it. Other best practices are, of course, to ensure that you've got some group guidelines laid out so that you have some control and moderation over these groups. Additionally, it's a good idea to have your business page be an admin in the group. I do recommend using your first name because we want to have those sort of personal connections. So having a personal Facebook profile is important, but by having the company name being one of the admins, it allows for more click-through for people to learn more about the company page on Facebook. And if you have some occasional promotional offers or maybe an upcoming workshop or something like that, it might be appropriate to have it shared from the business page. Let's talk a little bit about WhatsApp. Think of WhatsApp as a little bit more intimate, a little bit more real-time connection, and a little bit more like a group text message. Facebook groups work well for building larger communities around shared challenges, where WhatsApp is better for smaller, more intimate connections. It's also important to understand that WhatsApp now has both groups and community. Groups are for smaller, focused conversations, and communities can actually house multiple groups under one umbrella. So for example, it might make sense for you to start a WhatsApp community, and then within, you could have 2 or 3 different conversations or WhatsApp groups where people could opt in or opt out depending on their interest. Most importantly, here's the key decision factor, is what are the networks and the tools that your ideal target guests are already using? So if you're targeting Americans under 30 or under 40, then there's maybe a higher likelihood that they're using WhatsApp. They're part of those WhatsApp groups, especially internationally in Europe and Latin America and other places where WhatsApp is very, very dominant. But if you're in another place where maybe you're targeting Americans over 60, then they're more likely going to be familiar with Facebook groups. And if they're not involved with WhatsApp, then that's probably not the best place to build that community. With WhatsApp groups, the messaging feels more personal and urgent, and you'll typically see a higher engagement rate and open rate than Facebook posts inside of a Facebook group. The trade-off being that it's a lot less feature-rich. It's typically harder to tag individuals or search past content or even have complex threaded conversations. That being said, part of what we're trying to do here is reach your ideal target guests across the various platforms that they're using. That omnipresence is an important part of the VIP marketing methodology. Some people are going to get and open your email, a lot are not. Some people might see a Facebook group post, but a lot will not. Some people will get a WhatsApp group message. Some people might prefer Instagram and follow you there. The goal is to meet people where they are at and on the tools that they use every day. So lots of multi-day tour operators are a little bit nervous because they're not entirely sure what they should be doing in that group. How do we keep that engagement up? So let's take a beat to talk about that. The most important thing is, of course, to lead with value. When we are talking about delivering value, we're talking about inspiration, education, entertainment across especially those first 3 phases of the traveler's journey, the dreaming phase, the planning phase, and the booking phase. This is an opportunity for you to create seed content that you will repurpose across lots of these channels. So you might have a helpful blog post around the 8 most common mistakes that Atlantic Canadian travelers make when they're traveling abroad. Well, we can repurpose that into an email. We can repurpose that, yes, into a series of Instagram posts. But of course, repurposing that inside of your groups and sharing it in a more intimate way is going to be key. So with that seed content, we should have a regular publication. So basically every week or every 2 weeks, you've got at least one new piece of content that you can be sharing to that group. But let's take a beat to talk about building intimacy in your groups with the 3 C's. Those are connection, community, and conversation. In your Facebook and WhatsApp groups, we want to build connection by humanizing your business, sharing personal stories in your group intro post. Don't just say, I'm a tour operator, but tell them why you started, what drives you, maybe a transformative travel moment that changed your life. If you can post behind the scenes moments regularly, maybe you scouting out new destinations or your team prepping for a trip or even challenges you're facing, all the better. I was recently doing a strategy call with one of our tour business coaching members named Dan, and he runs Alaska Alpine Adventures, incredibly successful business where he takes people on these backcountry adventures. And he and the team were baking up some brownies. And he said to me, he said, "Oh, geez, the office sounds so amazing because we're making all these brownies for the trips going out this week." I said, "Boy, that'd be great content if you could go in and maybe show a little bit behind the scenes, share some of the incredible food, obviously, that they're preparing for people coming up on that journey." He said, "Oh, that's a great idea." So anytime you can use video to capture those types of authentic moments, it's going to come across as a lot more authentic. And don't be hesitant at all to just leverage your smartphone and encourage not just you, but your team members or even your social media manager to really have that video presence, especially inside of these groups. For building intimacy, the second C is community. So how do we create a sense of belonging inside of your group? Is there shared language or a shared culture that you can start to foster? Maybe you have special terms for certain experiences, or create special group traditions like Wanderlust Wednesday, where members share dream destinations, or Mistake Monday, where people share travel mishaps or lessons learned. Ideally, you want to make members of this group feel like part of an exclusive tribe. Can you celebrate member achievements when somebody books their first solo trips or overcomes a particular fear or hesitation? Celebrate those member wins and try and connect members with each other whenever possible. It's worth taking a moment to think about some of the communities or groups that you're involved in. Are there people that you follow, let's say podcasts or influencers or YouTube channels or Instagram, where you feel very much part of that community? Is there shared language? Are there inside jokes? Do you have a name for people who are in that group so you can self-identify? Many people even get to the point where they're developing merch. Whether or not you go that far, it's great to look at your own personal experiences to get inspiration on creating that sense of community inside these groups. The third way we build intimacy, and the final C, is conversation. If you're using these groups simply as a place to publish and then ghost, you are missing an opportunity to create connection. You or your social media manager should be asking questions that get people talking. Things like, what's your biggest fear about traveling solo? Or what's the one thing you wish you'd known before your first adventure trip? Create polls about destinations, experiences, or travel preferences, or things that are relevant to your particular niche. Respond personally whenever possible, or make this part of your social media manager's responsibility. In those conversations, if you can encourage your team to authentically share some of their experiences and possibly even vulnerabilities, the more genuine and relatable you and your business will become. Inside of these groups, it's not just about publish, publish, publish. You're building relationships. These connections will turn strangers into friends and friends into paying guests. Okay, so this all sounds well and good, but you might be wondering, okay, but can we actually use this to sell some stuff? When do we come out and actually ask for money? Well, we can do this, but remember, we're going to be value first. So let's say 75 to 80% of the time, we're going to be delivering value. We're going to have that engagement showing up for them. But then, of course, 25% of the time, it's time to have some special offers. It's time to make your community feel like the VIPs that they are. So this is an opportunity to have offers that are unique to this group, getting them early access to trips. Maybe they're the first who can come in and book. Maybe they get exclusive discounts. All of the same offers that we talked about in our webinar series when we're talking about, hey, when we have this event, we want to have a special offer. Well, make some exclusive offers just for members of your group. Or of course, invite members of our group to come to those webinars and take advantage of those offers as well. If you're doing this well, when you finally do make those invitations and those special offers, other members of the group, past clients and customers, will organically vouch for you, will step up and say, hey, I went on a trip with these guys last year and it was the best vacation I'd ever taken. Highly recommend you jump on this trip. When that type of social proof emerges inside of a group like that, organically, unprompted, it is truly invaluable and will live on inside of that group. So if you are not presently leveraging some type of group, whether it's Facebook, WhatsApp, or some other platform, we highly encourage you to do it. Be sure to leverage all of the best practices that we mentioned in this video, and it's going to be an important marketing channel for you going forward. Because one thing we didn't mention is what happens with this group is that other people invite their peers, their colleagues, and organically you are growing what? Not only that group, but if you are properly gating it, you're also growing your email list. And so this is something that will snowball and get more and more powerful the longer that it exists. If you're still feeling a bit nervous or overwhelmed, hey, we get it. We invite you to book a free 45-minute strategy call with one of our tour business coaches. It is absolutely risk-free, there's no cost, and it's a great way to connect and chat about what Facebook group or WhatsApp group might work for your particular niche. You can learn more at guestfocus.com/book a call. Otherwise, in the comments down below, let me know what your best practices are when it comes to building intimacy, that rapport, and that trust using groups. I know you got some best practices. I'm genuinely curious. It would mean the world to me to share that with our community down below. Share this series if you're getting value from it. It always helps. Thank you so much for being here, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.